Let's talk a little guards, though, guys, after a quick word from Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. You can use promo code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That is at monarchmoney.com. Guys, the Guardians won on Sunday. They beat the Astros, but they lost 2 of 3 overall in the series. And there were some managerial decisions throughout the series that left some people scratching their heads. Not pinch hitting, some pitching changes. Jay, when you look at the overall weekend series, what are you taking away from the 2 of 3 losses to the Astros?
Astros are a good team. I mean, I said that on Friday when they came in here. I knew they were a good team. I thought they were I know people are going to look at me like I'm nuts. I thought they were the best team in the American League last year. I did. I expected that they would. Detroit beating the Astros last year was really the flashing light to what Detroit is now. Detroit's the best team in the American League right now, and I don't think it's close. I really believe that. But last year, I thought Houston was the best team, and when Detroit beat them in their series, I thought, wow, Detroit is coming. They just knocked off a juggernaut, and they damn near knocked off the Guardians. So I knew that they were coming in. Jay, they pitched so well. And to me, my takeaway coming out of the series is their pitching is good enough to win the American League if things go their way. I believe the Astros can. I don't think they're going to. Right now, I think the Tigers are going to win the American League. I do. They're going to the World Series, in my opinion. But the Astros are a very, very good team. And the other thing it drove home to me is just how woefully inadequate our offense is.
Sticks. Double A sticks.
It's bad, man. It's bad. And I know I was going to rip Bo Naylor, and then he goes on a tear yesterday. And, thanks to Bo Naylor, we won the game.
Yeah. He's on 180 now.
And now he's up to 180. You got to at least hit your weight. That should be a rule in Major League Baseball. If you're not hitting your weight, you've got to go down. Big Christmas down, right?
Thank God.
Yeah, we'll save the big Christmas thing for 1 second.
Okay.
I want to do that,
I mean, my overall takeaway is we have 3 or 4 bats at any one time in our lineup that are not good enough to be Major League hitters. They should be playing in the minor leagues. And whenever you have that, I don't care how good your pitching is. Bybee yesterday looked great until he didn't. But I just think that as long as you're going to roll out 3 or 4 hitters that you could make the argument should be playing minor league baseball and not professional Major League Baseball, you're gonna go 500 against the really good teams. You're gonna stack up wins against the average and below average teams, and that's exactly what they've done this year. If you look at this last stretch, 5 of their last 6 series have been against teams that are going to the playoffs. 5 of their last 6. You won't see another run like that. And really, they're pretty much 500 over those games.
They are, and that's why I agree with everything you're saying. The lineup is just not good enough. But I remember sitting here when we showed the schedule, and I think there were 6 out at the time. And I said, man, by the time you get through the Yankees and the Astros, you might be 12 out.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're 7.5 out. So you survived a brutal stretch. I think they went 8-8, I think, in their last 16 games against some really tough competition.
5 of the 6 are going to the playoffs.
You know what? If you separate, remove how you got there, look at the 16 games you just played against the Tigers, the Yankees, the Astros. If you tell me at the start of that they're going to go 8-8 and they're going to lose a game and a half in the standings, all right, I'll take that.
I'm with you.
So that's why it's so hard, because this team just drives you crazy.
They do.
When you look at some of the holes in the lineup and you think, how is it possible?
You know what's worse for me? Caglione had 4 hits yesterday with the Royals.
Yeah.
Look, boy.
It was the debate of the draft.
Boy.
Is it going to be Caglione?
We had all
or is it going to be Bazan?
No,
we had all them dudes on here.
Yep.
It was Condon. Not necessarily Caglione.
No, Caglione was the other one. Caglione was in that conversation.
Caglione was in the conversation.
He was absolutely in the conversation as the number 1 overall pick.
J.J. Weatherholt was in the conversation. It was mostly...
It was 5 guys. There were 5 guys.
Condon, Bazana,
but
they were all...
Because it's written somewhere. I don't know. Can someone find the doctrine where it's written we always are going to suck at right field? I don't know where that was written, who said it, who proclaimed it. Maybe Manny Ramirez did when he left.
Right, that's the
I
last
don't know
one.
who said it, but he was the last good. I wrote some names down. I want you to explain this.
Shin Soo Choo doesn't do it for you?
Nope, didn't do it.
He was all right.
He was
He
okay.
had a couple years.
He was okay.
A couple of years.
But Jay, I need you. You're the investigative reporter. I need you to do a piece, okay? I'm going to name some names, okay?
Where are they now?
Bradley Zimmer, Oscar Mercado,
Yep.
Oscar Gonzalez,
Oscar.
Big Christmas,
Oscar the Grouch.
Yandy Diaz, Nolan Jones, Will Benson. Now,
Those are recent. We can keep going.
there are many more.
David DeLucci.
No, here's the reason I gave you those names.
Kareem Garcia.
At one point or another, all of those names had success.
Lonnie Chisenhall.
Had success. What happened to Oscar Mercado? What happened to Oscar Gonzalez?
The league exposed them. They got scouting reports on these.
Okay,
guys.
so you're taking me to my point. Why do we keep finding guys?
That's mine. I left it here.
There's my Yeti.
There it is.
Why do we keep finding these guys that can't adapt? These guys could not adapt.
I mean, don't limit that to right field. You can go to center field. You can go to shortstop.
I know, but at least at those positions, we've had success.
Scouting.
What is it about these guys that they cannot figure it out as the league has figured them out? It's a Rubik's Cube, and it constantly moves, and you're scouted, and the advanced scouting now is ridiculous. And if you have a hole in your swing, they're going to expose it in 40 at-bats. That's how quick. It used to take a year. Now it's 40 at-bats.
Yeah.
Okay? So all of these guys, at one point or another, we thought was the answer. Oscar Mercado, wow, he's going to be a stalwart in center field for years to come. Oscar Gonzalez, hitting big postseason home runs.
I thought he was going to be the truth.
SpongeBob, he was
thought he
crazy.
was
Yeah,
gonna be the
but
truth.
he was always. I put him in the Noel category of they were always sort of
I know,
treacherous
but
about
what
him.
I'm saying is they all had moments.
They all had moments. Yeah.
And a lot of them had big playoff moments. Christmas had a huge playoff moment last year.
Yes, he did.
Gonzalez,
before there was a scouting
huge
report.
playoff moment. Now, Yandy Diaz, we gave up on him, and look at what he's turned into.
It's messed up.
This guy's an all-star.
We gave up on Nolan Jones and then got him back,
No,
and he's down.
here's the thing. There's some sort of, that's why I said there's a doctrine somewhere written.
Well, okay, here.
Nolan Jones was here. We get rid of him. He turns into a ball player. We
Comes-
bring him back. Now Nolan Jones is starting to get a little warm.
I'll give him credit for that.
But Will Benson, hit what he hit against us. 3 or 4 home runs in the 3-game series.
And I don't think he's hit one since.
He's got 6 for the season.
Yeah. All right. Can I read you? This is funny. It wasn't that long ago. We kept talking about how stacked the Guardians minor league system was.
Yes.
Filled with prospects.
Yep.
How are they going to fit all these guys?
Yep.
You have to trade some of them.
Let's get to it.
You want to read the names?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get to this.
All right, here's 2019 top prospect rankings from 2019. Number 1, Tristan McKenzie. Number 2, Nolan Jones. Number 3, Tyler Freeman. Number 4, Bo Naylor. Number 5, George Valera. Number 6, Bobby Bradley. Number 7, Brian Rocchio. Number 8, Luis Oviedo. Number 9, Ethan Hankins. Number 10, Sam Hentges. 11, Yu Chang. 12, Lenny Torres. 13, Gabriel Rodriguez. 14, Aaron Bracco. 15, Ernie Clement. They went 0 for 15!
0 for 15.
The only one I would.
0 for
Hentges
15. Hentges
is serviceable.
as a left-handed
Bo
reliever.
Naylor is an everyday starter, but let's face it.
We never saw Valera. We never saw him.
Here's the 2020 list. Nolan Jones, Tyler Freeman, last same names. Bo Naylor, George Valera, Daniel Espino, Brian Rocchio,
You'll never seen.
Aaron Bracco, Ethan Hankins, Tristan McKenzie, Gabriel Rodriguez. Like, this was supposed to be a stacked
I
farm
know.
system,
Well,
brimming with
at
talent.
one point around that time, we were ranked as number 2
Yeah.
farm system in all of baseball.
It was coveted
and it's because of those names.
every week.
And they all
they're
flop.
coveting. They have so many prospects. They don't want to move off any of them. They have a war chest of talent.
They couldn't decipher who to build around and who to trade, because it turns out none of them were any good. That's why they couldn't figure it
crazy.
out, because they missed on all of them.
Can I ask you guys a question
crazy,
real quick,
man.
and then I want to get to the
That is
John
crazy.
Kenzie Noel stuff in a sec. Did you guys have any issues with some of the things Vogt did this weekend?
Yes.
He didn't pinch hit.
Yep.
Nunez against the lefty had Nolan Jones on the bench. He took
He had a
Nolan
chance
Jones
to-
out and pinch hit John Kenzie
Yes.
Noel. That didn't work. He let Bo Naylor on Friday. They had Will Wilson. I'm drawing a blank on his
Yeah.
name. He hit with the bases loaded, no pinch hit. It's just I know Vogt's done a very good job, manager of the year.
Yes.
It's one series, but there were some decisions this weekend. I was like,
I've seen
we sure
that
about
throughout
that?
this year. Not a lot, but this weekend there were some glaring. I'm like, what are we doing here? Why are we trotting up a 170 hitter in a spot where, it's just there was. I think it was Friday night's loss at the end of the game, or maybe in the 8th inning, we had a rally going, or this might have been Thursday. They all run together, and you had an opportunity to pinch hit for, I think it was Jones and Naylor who were hitting back to back, and he didn't pinch hit for either one of them, and they both made outs. Rally over, game over. And I know we're it's so easy to do that because we have the benefit of the results. Didn't work, and we're probably not going to praise him for very long if he would have put a pinch hitter in there and he got a base hit. But I don't know, Jay. There are things that I'm questioning this year about Stephen Vogt that I never questioned last year. Am I alone?
No, I think the honeymoon is probably over. That's natural, and you're going to go through stretches where Vogt loves to play matchups. He loves to right on left, left on right in terms of batting,
but there were some that demanded this weekend that he make matchup related changes, and he didn't.
Yeah, I'm just excited that they got rid of. Can we talk Noel?
Let me do a read if we want to go Noel. G, any thoughts on Vogt before we go to Noel?
Man,
I think he's an excellent manager.
I do too.
It's just,
I do too.
It's just when you win close games, you look like a genius. When you lose some of them,
I get frustrated. I get frustrated sometimes with some of the platoon matchups and some of the pinch hit decisions.
Now you know what? He's suffering from what Tito suffered from. He's got to lay awake at night saying, "This is the best my front office can do."
Well, that's in saying some of this stuff, I sort of feel like the Cavs against the Knicks in that playoff series where everyone was screaming for JB Bickerstaff to make changes. I'm like, guys, what do you want him to do? Look at the bench.
Jetty Osman.
Who are you going to put in?
Yeah.
Jetty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's some of that with this. Last year he didn't have to think that because Guard's ball was running him to the top of the division, and they wired it, and it was a magical season. And this year, the checkbook not coming to the team's aid and not adding more firepower has come back to get us.
They were in the ALCS last year and they responded, and I get why they did it. But you go to the ALCS and then you trade Naylor and you trade Jimenez. Now, it could work out in the long run.
Naylor's still having a pretty good year.
Yeah,
right?
he is. And I get why they made the moves. I totally understand, but to not capitalize on the momentum of the city and
money.
The fan base and to make those moves.
Yep.
Jimenez brought them Ortiz, and Jimenez has been a disaster in Toronto after a hot start, and Ortiz looks like he could be a starting pitcher here for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So I get it. And at the time, I totally understood moving off the future Jimenez money.
And
had he still been
Naylor
here,
trade,
that contract
we got
would be a
Slade
disaster.
from Ciccone from Arizona.
I really like what they've seen out of Ciccone.
He's been tremendous.
And to be able to get an asset like that for Naylor, sign a comparable player in Santana. Naylor's better than Santana, but to sign a comparable player and create an asset out of nothing, I totally get why they did it. But
the moves they made, Jay, were fantastic. I can't pick at any of what they've did. I get it with Naylor, why they had to move off of him. I get that. And the same thing with Jimenez. Jimenez had a 4-leaf clover year and then turned back into what he was. I get moving on from him. I think they overachieved with what they got back for both of those guys. They got back great starting pitching that's helping the team now.
Which is really difficult to find.
We'll see. I know.
2 years from now,
my
we may
argument,
have a different
Jay,
view.
is that the owner isn't writing checks for free agents.
Agree.
And that's it. The other teams are doing that, and we are not. And what happened in the span of one offseason, we've watched the Tigers catapult the Cleveland Guardians.